You study them in school, you read them in books, you even take tests on them, but how well do you really know them? This is Top 10 Historical Figures Who Turned Out to be Perverts. Queen Victoria spent all of her motherly life and royal life trying to maintain a crystal pristine image of the royal throne. Too bad she oppressed her little boy, eldest son, Bertie, who later became King Edward, too much, because he enjoyed having sex a little bit too much, to the point where he broke many pieces of furniture, and his midnight passing of the gravy led the staff of the palace to have to design this special chair for him. Everyone knows who Albert Einstein was, but just in case you live under a rock, he was considered one of the most intelligent men to ever live. He was first to postulate the theory of relativity, one of two pillars of modern physics. Behind closed doors, however, he had two marriages, and one was with his cousin Elsa. But before he married Elsa, he almost married her 22-year-old daughter, and had sex with Elsa's sister when they were young. In later years, he was caught having sex with his best friend's niece, and he was so open with his sexual encounters that he told his first wife not to expect any physical intimacy, and told his second wife and his stepdaughter about his many sexual encounters, and even, oftentimes, made his stepdaughter deliver messages to his mistresses. Percy Grainger was a composer who made $3 million in modern-day equivalent of money. He was married in front of 20,000 people and composed a special song for his wife. But, in their spare time, the two had an interesting S&M fetish, which involved him strapping mirrors to every angle of their room, including the bathroom, so that he could watch his wife beat the absolute shiz out of him. Hans Christian Andersen, more like Hans Christian Andersen, was responsible for nearly all of the original fairy tales, which are known for being extremely fucked up, dark, and not meant for children. He wrote The Little Mermaid, for example, which at the end of the book, the character Ariel ends up killing herself. Well, it turns out that Hans Christian Andersen liked choking his chicken a little bit too much, and even kept a meticulous and creepy scratch and sniff journal, which he wrote about his many times about freeing the willy, either in front of women or after he had met and talked with them. Oftentimes, he wrote about how milking the cow made his penis too sore. He would even go to prostitutes and not have sex with them, but instead sit and talk with them while sporting a massive tent in his pants, while all the while thinking about how he's going to go home later and frost the pastries. H.G. Wells was and still is a very famous author who wrote The War of the Worlds, which was a book about alien invasion that completely invented the science fiction genre. He also wrote The Invisible Man, which I know that many of you were required to read in school. Some of you may know of a YouTuber by the name of Carrie Hope Fletcher, who actually was in one of the musicals of War of the Worlds, which was based on H.G. Wells' book. After H.G. Wells married for the second time, he realized that he was rich and famous, which could only mean one thing, that he was going to bang anyone and everyone he could get his hands onto, but not only that, he was going to write a book on it, while also being still married to his wife. In this book that he wrote, he often wrote in extremely horrifying detail about his fixation on body hair. A feminist writer named Rebecca West even referred to him as "my lord, the Jaguar." As a result of his affairs, he had many illegitimate children with many different women. Jean-Jacques Rousseau was a philosopher in the 18th century who was famous for his work The First Discourse, which was a principle he dedicated his entire life to. This principle that he founded was based upon how civilizations have negative effects on humans. In his personal life, however, he enjoyed going out into public with his pants down and full-on charging at unsuspecting women, running backwards with his ass fully exposed. He did this to feed his cravings for a nice little spank on the caboose. It seems that Mozart was guilty of using his piano-playing hands for other activities, like, for example, writing intimate letters to not only his first female cousin, but to his own mother. He wrote this in rhyme to his mother. "I now wish you good night. Shit in your bed with all your might. Sleep with peace on your mind and try to kiss your own behind. Oh, my ass burns like fire. What on earth is the meaning of this? Maybe Muck wants to come out. Yes, yes, Muck." James Joyce was a novelist in the early 1900s whose book was banned in the United States. These letters are a prominent display of what happened before sexting and dirty phone conversations. I think I would know Nora's fart anywhere. I think I could pick hers out in a room full of farting women. It is a rather girlish noise, not like the wet, windy fart, which I imagine fat wives have. It is sudden and dry, and dirty like what a bold girl would let off in a fun school dormitory at night. I hope Nora will let off no end of her farts in my face, so that I may also know their smell. Marquis de Sade was a French aristocrat and pornographic material writer. He invented S&M, but he didn't have just a sex dungeon, no, he had a sex castle where him and his wife kidnapped young women and prostitutes for their evil sexual misdeeds. Aleister Crowley was a British magician who considered himself a prophet for his cult that he invented, which circled around the idea of using magic. He thought that every infant, from the start of their birth, should have every sexual misdeed performed in front of them. So he wanted people to have sex in front of children. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and if you did, it would mean a lot to me if you subscribed and liked this video. If you want to research for your own and you want to know what research links I use and stuff, there is a link to a Google document down below which has all of my image sources, all of my research sources, everything I used to make this video. I would also like to say that I have a Snapchat, and I will be adding anyone who adds me. Also, if you want to follow me on social media that I used, I post stuff like this on Instagram, which are pictures that I take, and I tweet weird things. My business email as well as my advice email is down there, so if you want to hire me as an editor or something, my email's down there, so yeah.